Hello and welcome to Tech. Actually, I thought to finish it off these Power Apps in conference booking app last week itself. But there was a community post which I have seen that they need to add bookings in the form of images. Like if you see on the screen right now, there are different screens are there. It means the different conference room here. So it will be helpful for the business users that they can select on seeing the pictures instead of the drop downs. That's one thing. And another thing is, if the timing which the user is selecting here, for an example, I'm selecting this 8:30 and they want to look at what are the conference rooms already booked during that time, then they had to give us something like this, that they get to know about that during this time, 9th October, 8:30 a.m. these 4 rooms are already booked and we have only one option. So they can select this option and then they can save the data in order to book their room for themselves. So this is actually a good thing. So I thought to make the video and continuation of last week so that it can be a complete app for this conference booking app. So let's dig into it. If you are new to this channel or if you haven't subscribed yet, just click on the subscribe button and also press the bell icon to get the latest notifications. Now let's get started. So first of all, what I did here is in the browse screen is same, nothing changes. The detail screen is also nothing changes. There is a slight change which I will tell you later on, and was there as is. And then what I did, I just clicked on this one and then duplicate screen. So it creates a duplicate of the screen and then I can make the changes whatever I want. So let me give you an example how it actually looks. If I click here and duplicate screen, it's going to create one more screen here. Edit screen 1_2. It looks almost similar, but the controls and the names is changing because of the unique it has to keep. Okay, so after this, what I did is I did a slight changes to this. If you remember last week of this video, we want to customize this data card in order to get the information from different data sources, right? So the same way what I did, I just deleted this one. I'm just showing it to here and it gives an error message. So I click on here and edit in the formula bar, and then we can delete all these things. Display mode equal to true, for an example. Sorry, display mode dot view. Okay, and then what I did, clicked on this form which is edit form 1_2 and clicked on the fields on the property pane and add the conference one more time. So clicked here and add the conference. This time it has added conference as a text. So for me it has to be text for now because I'm going to use the images and buttons instead of that. So just to show the what we have selected and what it was there during the update process, so we need that. So that's why I'm adding it as is, which is the text box now. So I closed here and I tried to realign everything here, fields, controls in this way. So let me zoom this one. Actually this looks very small. Okay, so now the ID here, required by here, purpose here, start date and time, end date and time, and the last is the conference. So at the bottom of this one, I have added these things. This is basically image and then the buttons. Okay, so I had downloaded the image from the website just for the testing purpose here, right? Just for an example. And then I have added each and every images here. How I did it is insert here and then media and image we have. So it's going to add an image here. And here on the property pane on the right side, you have option none, and these are the images which I imported already. So if you want to add a new image, you can click on add an image and then you can select the file whatever you need and click on OK. So it will import these images into your Power Apps, this one, and then you can use it here. For an example, I'm selecting this existing one. I clicked here and here you have an option like image position, transparency, display mode and everything, a lot of things here. We can do that, right? So after that, what I did here, I just added a text box here just to show a name of the conference room for the end users. It's just a plain text box, insert a label, and then I added a text inside to the label. Okay, so and on top of that I have added a button here, which is available here, insert button. If you add a button, basically it will add you the buttons default like this one, and there are a lot of formatting options which I did here in order to make it transparent and make it also the borders and everything, right? So if you click on this property pane of this button, and if you scroll down here, you have an option like disable color, pressed color, hover color. Because if I run this application, just for example, right now this is blue and white, right? If I click here, it changed to white and blue, right? So that's the reason. So I need to change all these colors to a different one. What I change here is, if I select here to any of the buttons, I change this disable color, the font color, to be transparent, because I don't need to show any kind of font inside to that, right? When it is disabled, right? When it is pressed, I need to show some kind of color, and when it is mouse hover, then also I need to show some kind of color. So what it is in the mouse hover, I added just to be just the black color, and inside to this one, the buttons, I have added a text as this right symbol, because it is like they want to see, oh, you want to book like this. So if you look at this now, so you can see this tick mark here. So if the user click on this one, this is going to change the what the user has selected, right? So that's the reason I used that. And how I had used that is basically, if you click on this one text box in the text area and then click on Windows key and then dot, it will give you the list of emojis here, and from that I have selected all the emojis whatever I need here. So for example, here we have, so I have selected from this one the tick mark options. Yeah, here is the one I have selected for now. So you can select any of the color or whatever you like on your requirement. Okay, so coming back to this background color, for the disabled color I use this light gray, and for the pressed color I use this to be white, and when it is mouse hover it is to be green. So if you look at here, and if you go to the custom, I have changed this one to be 80%. So basically this is red, green and blue, right? RGB color, and A stands for the transparency level. So I have set the transparency level to be 80%. So that's the reason when it is pressed, then it will give you 80% of the transparency color, because if you click here, even if I mouse over here, I can able to see the background image of it. So that's because of 80% transparency is there, right? So that's the reason. If I set it to be 0, then it will not show as the image, it will just hide whatever it is. And what else we had done here? Yeah, that's it. So for an image, I have not done anything else. It's just added an image inside to that. Okay, the rest of the thing is mainly for the button, because buttons lays on the top of the image. So whatever we want to do it here, we can apply it on the buttons actually. So what we did so far is we added an image, we added a button, and the button we have set the transparency color on the mouse hover, and also when it is pressed, and also when it is disabled options. So right now the UI is ready, right? So this is how we can able to do that. So the UI is ready now, and the next thing is we need to redirect it from the home screen to this screen, and also from the detail screen to this screen. So how we can we do that? It's just a simple thing. Just for now, what I did here, I just copied and pasted it here. Even we can change it directly, but as an additional option, I just copy and paste it here. And inside to that, I just slightly change from edit form 1 to edit form 1_1, and edit screen 1 to edit screen 1_1. So by doing that, it just create a new form 1 and then navigate it to edit screen 1. So if you click here, and if I click on this one, it's going to come up here on the new one. Okay, and here I need to select the users, which is usual, and all this thing is usual. The additional thing what I did here is this one. So I will tell you that. So basically, as I said before, we need to show the users that during the time which they have selected, the start time of this one, if there is already meeting scheduled over there, then it has to be highlighted as a disabled one. User can't able to select that booking room again, right? So what I did here, I just added an icon here. It's basically here, and then I added here radius icon. radar icon, and then I used this one, which is the collections. So basically we have used a lot of functions and features in Power Apps throughout this app. So if you watch this series from the beginning, then you are going to learn a lot of Power Apps development. So here we have used the clear collect function, which is basically we can create a collections inside the Power Apps, and we can store some data for a temporary period, and we can reuse it whenever we require. So what I'm doing here, I'm creating a clear collect. If I open bracket here, it's just asking us to give a name of the collection. So basically I'm giving the name to be booking details as a collection name, and then it's asking for me to add the items to it, right? So basically I'm using the filter functions inside to this one, and then referring to this conference booking table which we have added already. And I have added a filter here that the start date time is should be whatever the user has selected here. So it means the time which user has selected, if it is there, then it will give the list of available conference booking during that period. So let's click on run now, and if I select for an example here 9th October 8:30 and then click on this one, see it just disables all these things and it keeps only one. So how I did is because basically before going to that, I want to show you one thing. So if I close this one and let's click on the file and then click on collections here, I can see this is a booking detail which we have created, and inside to that I can see the conference end time ID and purpose, and also it should give me the other details also like required by purpose and start date time. If you look at this one, the start date time, it says 8:30, 8:30, 8:30, 8:30. That is what we have selected, right? That's good thing. So basically it gives open conference, main conference, mini conference and conference lake view. So mini conference 1 is not there. So that's the reason it has disabled all the thing except the mini conference 1. How I did that is basically there is one more formula I have used here. So basically if I click on the button here and go to this display mode, and if you click here, what I did is basically we use the lookup functions in Power Apps, and lookup, if I open bracket this, it is asking me for the source. So basically here we can refer a source as a table or as a collections. So I added a collections here and the conditions. So inside the collections we have multiple columns, right? So I use the conference as a column, and if the conference is the main conference, then the display mode should be disabled. So what it will do, it will just look up the collection booking details whole collections in the conference column. If the name is main conference is already there, then it will be set as disable, or else it will be set as enable. As simple as that. So that's same way I did for all the each and every buttons here basically. So on the display mode, if you look at the display mode of each and every button, is the same one. This is for the main conference and this is for open conference, and next is the lake view, other is mini conference 1, mini conference 2. So what it did actually, when we click on that radar button, it just fetch all this information, and then it says that the mini conference 1 is not there, so it is enabled now. That's the cool thing. Now right now three we have. So one is we need to save this information, other thing is we need to update this information, and the third thing is I will tell you now. If I run this application and you can see, if I go back to collections now, and if I see the meeting starts at 8:30 and 8:40 it ends on 8:30, 9, 8:39, 8:39, right? So it begins at 8:30 and ends at 9 a.m. So if I select here for an example 8:45, right, then still there are lots of rooms which is already in process, right? The meeting is started at 8:30 and it ends on 9 a.m. and if I want this to be disabled during that time also, then I need to change the calculation what I did so far, right? Why I have shown that previously is because there are certain situations which you have only one date period. At that time you can use that formula, and if you have this kind of situation like the duration, then you can use a different formula which I am going to cover later on, right? So that's the main purpose. I am just covering the basics and then moving on to advanced so that you can clearly understand how things works in Power Apps.